All right. It's time for Jerry and the Goddesses Part 23. No trigger warnings for this part. So which suits me better? Sarissa held up two shirts to her torso, one after the other for Kathy and I. I really like the blue, but the black almost matches my hair. I watched Kathy studying the shirts intently. She didn't look like she'd been through the hell that Inanna and Gary had claimed, but then what the hell do I know about that? Wait, actually, I think I did know. I'd been held captive and beaten myself. Did I look normal a few hours later? Actually, I don't know. Well, damn. I wanted to say something, but I didn't have a clue how to start. Hi, I'm Jerry. I've been held captive and beaten and then rescued as well. Want to be friends? No. Besides, she was so young. I felt like a creep even hanging out with her. I think you should go with the blue. I think it accents your hair and eyes better than the black one. Kathy didn't have a lot of smiles in her, but she was gamely playing along with Sarissa, who'd immediately set out to make the young girl feel like she'd just made a new BFF. It was endearing, really. And Anna was usually the one to get all matronly with people, except me, of course. Both of them could get that way with me. While Sarissa remained mostly aloof, unless and until something caught her interest, at which point she'd explode into a girlish ball of glee. And Anna had returned with Gary and Kathy half an hour ago, about 5 minutes after Sarissa told me they'd found her. Sarissa immediately materialized some clothes, a pair of blue jeans and a frilly blouse that made her look much younger. And Anna had been a little less modest, of course, appearing in a slinky, low-cut red dress with a slit up the side that went all the way up to her ribs. It was just this side of something a stripper might wear to imply being dressed without actually hiding anything, and it was utterly typical of the sorts of clothing Inanna liked to wear when she elected to wear clothes at all. A pair of matching red pumps completed the outfit, and I could clearly see her turning every male head and a few female heads as the trio approached Sarissa and I. Sarissa put the black shirt back on the rack, then paused, gave Kathy a wink, and put it back in the cart. I stared at cargo pants, completely out of my depth, until Gary came over and pointed out that one brand was known for making good quality. I grabbed 3 pairs of that brand in my size and added them to the cart. Sarissa had, by that point, gotten her arm around Kathy's shoulder and was telling her to pick out whatever she wanted, so long as it was practical. When Kathy asked about the cost, Sarissa laughed and looked at me. Jerry's offered to pay for everything, and money is really no object to him. My jaw dropped. The CIA didn't pay me very much at all, and the book I'd rewritten my master's thesis into wasn't due to be published until next year. I planned to work my PhD thesis about the Mesopotamian origins of Ishtar and the evolution of a passion goddess into a fertility goddess alongside the decline and veneration of the older fertility goddesses into a book as well, aiming for popular audience. But that was even further off. Sarissa, I don't think I can afford all this, I said. She turned and favored me with a humoring smile. Jerry, dear, I know you didn't bring enough cash, but I'm quite sure your black card will cover it. She winked as she said it, and I suddenly realized there would be a black card in my wallet when we got to the checkout. It also dawned on me that maybe I should just play along instead of taking her literally. Oh, yeah, I forgot, I muttered. And Anna tossed a few things into the cart and then walked over to kiss me. It was a long, deep kiss, and when it was over, I was suddenly aware of a few of our fellow shoppers staring, probably wondering what a knockout like her saw in a skinny nerd like me. I think we're done here unless Kathy needs a few more things. She turned as she spoke, surreptitiously guiding my hands into the slit of her dress and then down onto one cheek. No underwear, of course. I squirmed my legs a little, hoping nobody could see my visible reaction to that. Kathy, at least, didn't notice. Thank God. The last thing I wanted to do was traumatize her further by exposing her to Inanna's libido. Lord knows I was traumatized enough by it. I think I have everything. I've got 5 complete outfits, plus belts, bras, underwear, and socks. What about you, Gary? She turned to look at Gary, who gave her a fatherly smile. I'm all set. I brought most of what I needed when I got the call. I think Kathy might be developing a little crush on Gary, but my judgment about such things is notoriously incompetent, so I don't know. I do know that it took Sarissa almost half an hour to convince Kathy to move more than a few feet away from him. And Anna was getting a little insistent by that point. My hand had moved on to between her legs, and it was sopping wet as she ground against me subtly. So I added, "Okay, well, let's go check out then. It's getting late, and all the places with the hiking and camping gear will be closing soon, so we should find a hotel and get some food, maybe?" I hope they all agreed. I was famished. Sarissa gave me a look of pity, understanding where I was coming from. And Anna gave my hand a couple of tugs, then shuddered against me for a second before releasing me, sated for the moment. Gary added, "I could murder a fucking steak right now," a sentiment I wholeheartedly shared. Kathy looked around at all four of us, a faint smile looking like it might grow on her lips, but then it faded, and she nodded. "I'm hungry too," she said simply. So we headed to the checkout. Sure enough, I found an American Express black card in my wallet, and I damn near strained my brain thinking of all the complex changes Sarissa would have had to make the world and various computer systems make it work. But it did indeed work, and impressed the pretty young lady checking us out enough that she kept batting her eyelashes at me until Anana gave her a dirty look and draped herself on my arm. We left, piling into Gary's big four-door pickup, and went searching for a hotel. After Anana shut down several likely places I pointed out, Sarissa had to remind me, "Jerry, you have a black card. We're about to spend several weeks or months in some of the most conflict-ridden parts of the world, plus Norway. We should spend our last few nights before we depart on our journey in comfort, dear." So Gary asked his GPS to direct us to the highest-rated hotel in the city. It brought us to the Eden Resort and Suites, which Anana examined on my phone and pronounced adequate. When we entered the lobby, I was blown away. It was probably the nicest hotel lobby I'd ever been in, with subdued lighting, a curving front desk, and warm color scheme. The staff were all dressed formally, either in white shirts and ties with vests, or in the case of two folks behind the desk, a full business suit. We checked in and managed to get the Penthouse Villa Suites, which had 4 beds for all of us. 2 queens and a set of bunk beds in 2 rooms. Gary and Sarissa quickly consulted each other and then offered Kathy the queen bed, but she declined, preferring the bottom bunk. Sarissa then tried to offer Gary the queen, but he refused, claiming the top bunk. I got the impression there was some kind of a joke there, to which I wasn't privy. The second bedroom with the other queen was mine and Anana's by unspoken agreement. I didn't really blame them. Nobody wanted to listen to her moaning and me whimpering half the night. We dropped our stuff off in the room and then headed out to eat. Sarissa didn't demur this time and directed us to this place called the Belvedere Inn, where we waited half an hour for a table, even after Sarissa had put someone's reservation in our name and given them the idea to go somewhere else. We waited at the bar, and Anna and I shared a $150 bottle of red wine, which was really pretty good. Gary had a depth charge, which was apparently a shot of whiskey dropped, shot glass and all, into a pint of beer. Sarissa sipped a malt scotch, and Kathy demurred at first, opting for a Coke. Sarissa kept egging her on, however, until she finally relented and ordered a martini. If the bartender noticed her age, he didn't comment, just mixing the drink up. I watched her take a small sip and then make a satisfied face and take a longer one. Sarissa and Gary, sitting on either side of Kathy, kept her engaged with small talk, asking her about boyfriends and high school drama and her volunteer efforts. Apparently, she liked to build houses for charity on the weekend.